onto the feature match here and take a look at these guys. We're going to join these games in progress here, starting on table C. Dylan Murphy versus Matt Sperling. Matt Sperling, blue-black, with a potentially a little red splash here. Couple of Deadeye Brawlers, which is just an altogether all-around good card. Death Touch, when it does damage, draw a card. Fabulous stuff there.
I mean, I talked about it before, but again, a 2/4 Death Touch for 4 mana is very good in this limited environment. It's pretty much exactly what you want.
The 4 toughness is being critical, do you think?
I think so, because there are so many creatures that are attacking that have either 3 and or 2 power that, the fact that it will always be able to... Ooh.
Mutiny here from Dylan Murphy. Is going to have one of these Deadeye Brawlers deal damage to the other. I've seen more Mutiny than I expected to this weekend. I like the card, but we've seen it almost every round we've been commentating.
Yeah, it looks like people are playing every single copy they open, so the card is definitely proving itself. And here, I mean, great interaction with Death Touch.
Oh, yeah. There you see a 3/3 on Matt Sperling's side of the table as well, and Fathom Fleet Border, and there's kind of an example of, even though it's not currently matching up against that Deadeye Brawler, that those 3/3 stats, why Deadeye Brawler is just so good in this matchup. Siren's Ruse here will save that Deadeye Brawler for Matt Sperling. Nice. Leaving Dylan Murphy was just a little Goblin Trailblazer wearing a Journey to Eternity. Marked for death, as you will.
The Journey does matter, though. We can't quite see what's in Dylan's graveyard, but if Matt lines up an attack here, see just that one creature, the fear of Journey to Eternity flipping, and
wow,
giving Dylan, never-ending stream of reanimation spells.
Journey to Eternity, of course, turning into Atzel Cave of Eternity for 5 mana. You get to get whatever you want back from your graveyard. At instant speed, too. Another Fathom Fleet Border hits the table last turn, as well as a Spirewinder for Matt Sperling. Doing a little bit of math, and then I love this move, putting the whole hand on the table and turning everybody sideways all at once. Boom. No fear here.
I like the theatrics of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Style points.
Here, Matt's going to be drawing a lot of cards this turn. Secrets of the Golden City. A Brawler getting through.
Unfriendly Fire is going to take down that Spirewinder, which notably Matt Sperling does have the City's Blessing. So that card did have +1/+1, was a bit more of a problem than it initially is. All right, here we go. Journey to Eternity flips. Desperate Castaways for Matt Sperling and a Conqueror's Galleon, the follow-up play. And Dylan Murphy has seen quite enough. Matt Sperling is going to take that first game over Dylan Murphy.
Yeah, just too much there for Dylan Murphy. Even if he was able to, put something gigantic onto the battlefield, it still would not have been enough there.
David Williams also able to pick up the first game win over Jake Haversat there on table B. Paul Rietzl and Kevin Della still in game 1 there on our A table. It's neat for me, too, to see which player teams elect to put in the B seat in these team sealed, or any team events, really. I like to call that the team captain.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because you'd think you'd want the best player so that they could, help out the other 2 people. But a lot of it just has to do with dynamic. Who both people like to talk to. So, David Williams, I don't think... David Williams, obviously, one of probably the top couple hundred Magic players who ever played the game, but Paul Rietzl is, probably a top 10, top 20 ever. So.
Sure. All right, let's take a look at where we are here. David Williams versus Jake Haversat. Red-blue for Williams. Playing a lot of hexproof or unblockable creatures, it seems. Soul of the Rapids turning sideways here for David Williams. Wearing a Curious Obsession, I do believe.
Ooh.
As he just drew a card there after an attack. Mistcloak Herald, that little 1/1 unblockable you see down there on the right side of your screen. Deadeye Rig Hauler, send that Dust Charger back to Jake Haversat's hand. Man, Deadeye Rig Hauler feels so good when you play it.
Yeah, Deadeye Rig Hauler is, just especially strong when you're playing it with these cards that have evasion. Cards that are unblockable, cards that fly. David Williams really showing us here how you want to be playing these cards. Mistcloaked Herald, the card we talked about at the beginning of the day, is being one of the commons from this set that when you first look at it, you're like, this isn't really my thing. But then you play with it and you're like, oh, wow, this is really good.
Right. Paul Rietzl up a game over Kevin Della as well. The clean sweep in game 1 for the team of Rietzl-Williams-Sperling. Yeah, I built a Merfolk deck the other day that was highly aggressive, playing a bunch of Mistcloak Heralds and Jade Bearers. And Marshall tweeted at me and he's like, is that deck, how do you like those 1-drops? And I'm like, oh, I like them, Marshall.
Oh, I like them a lot. Did you play like 16 or 15 lands? Really push it?
Oh, yeah. I think I played, I think I might have played 15. I can't remember.
I've had a few 15 land decks in this format. It's been a little while since I've done that before Ixalan came out.
Kitesail Corsair getting in there for Jake.
Ooh, and here's an Entrancing Melody.
Wow. Entrancing Melody. It's been a while since I saw this card.
It's a powerful 2-for-1.
Gain control of target creature with converted mana cost X. It costs X blue. Soul of the Rapids continues to smash in here for David Williams. Continues to draw off that Curious Obsession.
Look at his hand. His hand is just like full
stacked.
Of like all of like so many goodies.
Fire Cannon Blast takes care of that horse. Shot with a cannon. And here we go. City's Blessing for David Williams. Slippery Scoundrel. He's going to be hexproof and unblockable. Man, I love this deck. We saw a version of it paired with white, paired with red. Seems just as good.
It seems really powerful. I mean, when you pair it with red, you don't get access to, cards
Square's
like,
Devotion.
Yeah, the lifelink cards. But instead you get more reach and more removal to help in your racing situations.
Jake Haversat currently at 5, David Williams 12. Yeah, and that'll do it.
So we talked about David Williams having 6 Grand Prix team top 4s.
Yeah.
And he already won his match here. Just a couple minutes in.
So Paul Rietzl and Matt Sperling just have to, either of them has to win a game, and that'll do it. They would have the clean sweep over the team of Kevin Della, Jake Haversat, and Dylan Murphy.
It's always disheartening when nobody on your team wins a game.
Oh, I know. You're like, look over, did you win? No. Hey, did you win? No. You're just like, oh boy, get the shovel, we gotta start digging.
Yeah.
But I have to say,
anybody got a Sharpie? Let's have these guys sign some of these cards.
I do have to say, like, when we walked in here this morning, you remarked on it too, JVL, how neat it was to just kind of hear a quiet murmur of all of these teams building decks together. It was really cool.
Yeah, my favorite thing in Magic is watching the build. Ooh.
Sorry, I just had to Tezamok. Oh my God. I was wondering when we were going to see this card. Here it is. Primal Death indeed. Prey counters on both of Paul Rietzl's creatures.
And, what's Paul supposed to do here? Is he supposed to play more things and apply more pressure and hope that Kevin doesn't draw lands?
I don't know.
Is he supposed to just... What is he supposed to do?
Well, first things first, he's going to Cleansing Ray that baffling end, get back his Martyr of Dusk.
And I believe he actually gets a dinosaur.
Yes, he does.
The baffling end.
That's right. Yeah, Paul Rietzl initially had the same mistake I did there. That's right. Gets a 3/3 dino when baffling end leaves the battlefield. Sweet basics from Kevin, by the way. Gotta mention it. Voracious Vampire here giving +2/+2 to the Bishop Soldier. Big life point swing. Tezzamok once again revealed. Prey counter.
Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming.
Somebody told me it was kind of neat because it was like seeing the ripples in the glass of water, you know, as the dinosaur approaches.
So this is the turn where Paul's like running into the restroom, trying to hide. So he knows it's coming.
The Raptors know how to open doors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kevin
but I mean,
another land.
You mentioned it. Like, what on earth is Paul Rietzl supposed to do about this card? He is in black. He is in white. 2 different colors that allow for plenty of removal. He can't cancel it. You know, there's no counter available to him. So he's going to make hay while the sun shines here. Swing in with the team.
Yeah, I mean, if he plays another threat here, then you know, Kevin doesn't have additional black mana, so he won't be able to, you know, put a prey counter on it before he casts the Tezzamok.
Paul Rietzl electing not to play one of his creatures and throws the turn back over to Kevin. Luminous Bonds in Kevin's hand as well. So yet another way to deal with anything that Paul Rietzl might try and add to the battlefield. But yeah, Kevin said that's been long enough. Here he comes, Tezzamok, Primal Death. Eats all of Paul Rietzl's team. Wow, that card is insane.
Disgusting. Have you played against it yet?
No.
It's so unfair, and you feel so helpless.
I'm thankful I have not.
So good.
Bishop of Binding.
Ooh,
there we go, Paul
there's
Rietzl.
An answer.
So this card's are really cool. So you get to just basically steal away that Tezzamok, and then when another creature attacks, boom, it gets +6/+6.
Yeah, so the bishop itself gets +6/+6 when it attacks, right? So it's now suddenly Paul, who had gotten Kevin down to 12, has, you know, a 7/7 attacker.
Yeah. He can also give it to another vampire if he plays another one, that if he chooses.
Oh, so if he's a flyer, he can toss it in the air. Of course, he has fallen to 5 now.
All right, recover here for Paul Rietzl. What's he going to get back?
Grand Prix players, time is up.
So you get the Emissary back.
Emissary of Sunrise. It's going to explore. It has first strike. There's Sanguine Glorifier revealed for Paul Rietzl. 3-power first striker. Sends a turn back over to Kevin. Well, that was a pretty good recovery there from Paul Rietzl after Tezzamok. Ate his entire team.
Yeah, but now down to just 5. It's looking like it might not be enough. And
Yep, sure enough, Luminous Bonds. Oh, you wanted to see Paul pull that one out anyway?
Well, I mean, I'm happy to see anything. Like, Tezzamok is an impressive card. I'm really excited that I got to see it happen.
Oh, yeah. I knew it was going to happen at some point.
I was just excited to see something turn around again. Because today we've seen some games that look completely unwinnable on one side or the other that the other players just come back from. So I suddenly was excited that this might turn into a real game after Tezzamok.
Post Tezzamok. All right, speaking of elder dinosaurs, Nehazal's on the table here for Matt Sperling. Let's check in on table C. 1 game up against Dylan Murphy. If he's able to pull this one out here. Jade Light Ranger on the table, as well as a Thrashing Brontodon. Ooh, a Colossal Dreadmaw added to the table.
Not quite an elder dinosaur, but
no,
pretty decent.
Fair, you know, sometimes you just want it more than you want a Nehazal.
That's
it has
true.
trample.
It does have trample.
No attacks from Sperling. Back over to Murphy. Looks like he has an unfriendly fire in hand as well.
So, something I really like about Neza Hall is I feel like every new set of Magic cards we get some rare, unplayable fish monster. Some like
Yes,
giant,
that's true.
you know, giantly unplayable thing that like can't attack my opponent unless they control like 12 islands or something. Neza Hall is just about the most playable rare fish monster I've seen in quite some time. I'm into it.
7/7, can't be countered, no max hand size. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card, discard 3 cards, exile it, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control.
It's a big game. The no maximum hand size part's a little weird, but I'm into it.
It lets you discard 3 to bring it back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right, in swings the team here for Dylan Murphy. Right into Nehezal. Sperling here lining up some blocks. The big sea dino jumping in front of the Ceratops there. Looks like a dinosaur hunter in front of this colossal Dreadmaw. Pretty good here in this matchup.
And this is a really interesting combat step. You know, Matt Sperling, it may seem obvious that you make the 7/7 block the 6/6, but because of the tricks that might be available to Dylan, you know, Matt's really having to think about this. And I think he'd be happy to trade that Dinosaur Hunter with the 6/6 and make a safer block here with the Neza Hall, and that's what he's going to try to do.
By the way, we blinked, and apparently Jake Haversat won 2 games versus Dave Williams.
Whoa.
We saw him win 1.
There? Yeah, we saw Dave win the first one, right?
Could they possibly have played that fast?
I guess so. Jeez.
I mean, we said this format could be quick. All right, so each of these games suddenly becoming infinitely more important for the team on the left side of your screen.
Yeah, now with a match already under their belt, yeah, they're down a game in this match, but things are all tied up. The top. One more, and they've beaten, you know, one of the very best teams in the room.
Absolutely. Dylan Murphy plays the land, passes back over to Matt Sperling. Sitting back on that 7/7 for now.
The Primal Tide.
The Primal Tide. You know, when we were having preview season for the set, which actually was pretty short, on my podcast, we were like looking at some of the other Primal Hunger. Of course, we knew about Galta. We're like, wonder what the blue one's going to be called. I'm going to just like pat myself on the back here as I said, Primal Tide.
Very nice. Very nice. Call in the dark. I'm into it. I thought it might have been an illusion.
Ooh, Vona's Hunger here for Matt Sperling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. City's Blessing achieved.
So Dylan Murphy's going to have to sacrifice half of his creatures.
Rounded up. Very important here. Oh, yeah. Vona's Blessing. What a card. I've been wrecked by that card for sure in the past.
I've wrecked others with it. I have yet to be wrecked with it.
So you know the feeling from the other side of the battlefield. Just absurd.
Kind of an awesome card, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially in a format where, you know, people are currently kind of going wide, being encouraged to go wide, play a lot of smaller creatures. Really can punish you. Jade Light Ranger, the only creature left in play there for Dylan Murphy. Matt Sperling feeling safe to get in with Neza Hall.
And Matt now looks like he has some options. He's got plenty of cards in his hand. I think he even has Siren's Roost.
And attack here from Dylan, a chump from Matt Sperling. Dusk Legion Zealot will hit the bin. Pass back. Sperling swings in. Nahazal and Sailor Means hitting the red zone. He's going to think twice. Sailor Means going to stay back. I have to be careful when I say things. He's like, he's going to think twice.
Yeah.
Not in this format. Sailor Means number 2 hits the table for Sperling, coming along with the treasure token. We'll see if Dylan's able to battle his way through the Sea Beast this round. Raging Regisaur is the play here from Dylan Murphy.
So he does have enough power assembled on his side of the board to trade with Nezahal if Matt's going to let him, but
can just come back. Look at how many cards Matt has been keeping in hand.
Yeah, it can just come back.
Raging Regisaur 4/4. Whenever it attacks, deals 1 to target creature or player. Deadeye Brawler here for Matt Sperling has Death Touch. When it hits for combat damage, Sperling gets to draw a card as well. Yeah, no attacks here from Dylan Murphy. Back over to Sperling once again, who I do believe has Siren's Ruse in hand. In comes the Deadeye Brawler.
It looks like Dylan has Unfriendly Fire, so has something to deal with it, but we know.
Yep, Siren's Ruse.
It's a really nice 2-for-1 there for Matt, able to counter that Unfriendly Fire, essentially. Drawing himself a card, keeping that Death Touch creature untapped.
Fathom Fleet Border hits the table for Sperling. Oh, Secrets of the Golden City. Draw 3 cards for 3 mana. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Golden Demise in hand, too. Not really good against Murphy's board as it presently sits, but Impale's just going to shut the whole thing down. Matt Sperling taking that match 2-0 over Dylan Murphy. Haversat over Williams 2-1. So now all we have left is our table A. Let's check in. Kevin Delagrotte versus Paul Rietzl.
And this is it, 1 game to decide the entire match.
No pressure. Trying to go start the day 4-0 here at Indianapolis. Team limited. Playing with these new cards. A lot of fun building these decks with your friends. Tezamok in hand for Delagrotte. You saw it there. I saw it peeking out.
This is a pretty exciting dinosaur.
And look at that Bishop of Binding. Just the Legion Conquistador under it. Oh no, that's what was able to deal with Tezamok last game. Out of commission so far for Paul Rietzl. And here it is, Tezamok. Prey counters on both of his creatures. The inevitable doom waiting in Kevin's hand. Speeding things up here as we inch closer and closer to round 5 here in the tournament hall. We do want to be able to bring you that round live, so that's why we're speeding up our time walk match a little bit. Previously recorded magic here. Swing in from Paul Rietzl. He knows the end is nigh, so might as well.
So this has got to be the best of the other dragons, right? Tezamok?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe not if you're playing like Commander or something, you want to play a Tolly.
That's true.
But I don't know. What do I know about Commander?
Yeah. Would you call yourself an Italian then?
Oh my gosh.
Should we go get some spaghetti?
I didn't know Rich Hagan was here with me this round. Inspiring Cleric will gain Paul Rietzl a little bit of life here. Territorial Hammerskull also hits the table, and it's like he looks like he's making the decision. He's going to say, hey, either you play that Tezamok or stop killing my creatures. I'm going to put enough down to keep putting pressure on you. You're at 6. Yeah, Tezamok hits the table, able to deal with 2 of Paul Rietzl's threats, but he still has 2 back and able to tap down that Tezamok if he wants with Territorial Hammerskull, which was a good card, remains a good card.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still one of the best commons you can possibly have in your deck in the whole limited format. Here we've talked at length about how you always want to be attacking, and this card is really good at attacking, and it makes it so your opponent has to play that game with you.
Sanguine Glorifier here for Paul Rietzl will put a counter on the Inspiring Cleric, swinging in, tapping down the Tezamok. Oath Sworn Vampire looks like it might be lining up a block here. haven't had a chance to play with the Oathsworn Vampire yet, but I'm kind of interested in it.
Yeah, I had it in a deck as, a 2-drop, and I had a couple ways to return it to the battlefield. Never came up, but I think even if you just return it once from the graveyard to the battlefield, it's still just a great deal.
All right, double block here on the Cleric. Oathsworn, Legion Conquistador down for Kevin. Currently at 4. Paul Rietzl sitting back at a comfortable 22. But nothing can ever feel too good when you're facing down a Tezzimok. Martyr of Dust, the follow-up play.
Yeah, Kevin just down to 4 here. Paul still at a healthy 22, but after the insane card advantage and tempo swing provided by Tezzimok, seems really hard for Paul to crawl his way back into this one. Of course, I've spoken too soon before.
Still a 6/6 Death Toucher.
Yeah, it's no slouch when it's once it's in play. I'd gladly pay 6 mana for a 6/6 Death Toucher, and then if it's going to kill all of my opponent's creatures when it enters the battlefield, that's
just a plus.
That's a nice little plus.
All down to this, by the way. Things are all tied up. Matt Sperling win for his team. Jake Haversat a win for his team. All right, no attacks there from Kevin. Over to Paul Rietzl. That Hammerskull, a pretty big problem, given Kevin's board perhaps has some kind of way to deal with something from Paul Rietzl in hand, as he played nothing last turn.
It seems like, okay, so Paul has a removal spell here, and the Hammerskull could take Tezzimok out of the equation in terms of blocking. That means that Kevin would need more than one card to interact with. It's kind of big.
All right, here we go. Swing from Paul Rietzl. Tezzimok gets tapped down. What does Kevin have? Legion Conquistador in front of the Hammerskull. Moment of craving. Just shrink it down, give it -2/-2. Vanquish the weak is the reply from Paul Rietzl here. Everything lives.
Beautifully played there from Paul. If Paul had played that, if he had gone for it with the Vanquish before Kevin had declared his blocks, then the moment of craving would have actually killed one of his creatures. I mean, it's really nice there.
Yeah, and there is the handshake as Paul Rietzl turns his creature sideways. The team of Rietzl, Williams, and Sperling takes down that match versus Della, Grotte-Haversat, and Murphy. All right, more magic coming your way after these messages.